Hello, good evening, welcome. I wonder who is here. There is someone here, Code Heed. I think that might be a Darren, but if it isn't, please let me know. Welcome to this month's Synthesizer Misuse department. Number 6, not including the practice stream, and that's a nice little run. We've been going all year. We did miss a month because I was a bit overwhelmed at work, and so we took a month off. But we are back. It's July. It's coming up for the end of July. We're in the hottest bit of the year, and somehow we've not managed to cook in the studio, which is to be honest, pretty good going. If you are out there, let me know. Come and say a little hello in the chat. I think I do a little bit of watching back of these, and my God, the haircut changes over these 7 months have been extraordinary. But that'll all make sense at some point. We do have an additional viewer for today's stream. So my lovely wife is away, and so my dear lovely dog does not want to be... Oh, not that one. There she is, little Daisy Cam for the day. In fact, I have no idea how long she'll stay and hang out. We put her bed by the door so that she could be around if she wants to be around. But it's really nice to have a little Daisy on the stream. Anyway, oh bless her. I've not. So. This is the third stream working on a particular piece, and it started off with making some sounds using some no input mixer feedback. That was taking the outputs of a DJ mixer, running them back into the inputs, and then adding a load of effects to make it all feedback on itself in some really interesting ways. It was really good fun. I really enjoyed it, and that generated a whole load of samples. And then on the last stream, we went through and started building a track out of them. And today, I have finished a rough arrangement of that track, and the next job is to set it up to kind of jam it out. This is how I work on all of my music. Is I will get everything up and running, usually in Drambo on the synth rack. We've all seen Drambo by this point, but it's like lovely modular Groovebox software. Populate all clips with different things, and then create and then kind of improvise with that material until I kind of find an arrangement. The major change to that workflow that happened, 3-4 months ago, no, maybe not as long as that, is this. Loopy Pro, one of the best tools for iOS music making. There is absolutely astonishing. Michael, Edward, everyone that does Loopy Pro is awesome. The problem that I was having was that for various different reasons, I didn't want to move the clips around so that I was just launching scenes, because there was lots of automation in there, and it was all getting a little bit confused and a little bit breaky. And so I wanted a song mode, if any, and my favorite song mode that I've used on hardware Groovebox is on the Novation Circuit Rhythm. It is. I always get confused about which circuit is which one. But yeah, the Novation Circuit Rhythm, because that has a sort of clip-based way of working, and then the song mode works by letting you create scenes out of combinations of different interesting. I wonder why that's not showing up over the top. There we go. Combinations of different clips. So that's what we've got here, is for each of the, let's go into an empty page. So for, let's say, scene 16, so on synth 1, I can say I want clip 1, say clip 1 on synth 2, let's go for synth 3's clip 3. And then I can create, that scene can be whichever clips I want it to be. And that's a really lovely way of working, because it means that I don't have to rearrange all the stuff that I've done already. I can work with what I've got and build and develop that, and it gives me enough kind of linearity to the music making process to actually create something interesting, or to create a piece that feels like it's got a through line running through it, as opposed to when I'm just working in clips. It's really easy to get stuck in 8 or 16 bar world, and just go round and round those ideas until you kind of lose faith in them, or they become boring or whatever. So I have got, I think, 8 or 9 scenes for this track at the moment. And the job for today is basically, hopefully, over on the right hand side. So we've got some MIDI controllers here. We've got the Akai MIDI Mix. Not my favorite controller. I really don't like the feel of the knobs, and I do have a Launch Control Mark II, which is way better, but also lives in my Lifelike case, and until I can afford to buy another one, I don't want to take it out. So this will do, and basically this is mapped to all the tracks that we have in Drambo, and then I have 3 macro knobs per channel. The N Koala I actually don't use for Koala. I use for a send effects channel, which the volume is controlled by that master. And I've basically used that to create a load of transition-y effects, which are really cool. So yeah, we will be finishing off mapping all of our macro knobs, and then trying to work out what we're going to use to transition between each of the sections. But I thought first, as a before and after kind of vibe, I would just play the material as it is, with no with no transitions, just so we can see like how it doesn't really make the most of it. Yeah, how it doesn't, like, it really doesn't feel like it is. We've got some really cool, like really interesting sonic material in here. Like, how are we going to make the most of that material? And if we just play it through, then hopefully we'll see that. So let's focus on the iPad, because that's where a lot of the information is. So here we go. This is how it starts. Cool. So, like, there is the base of something really interesting there. There's something that I really like. Really like the shift between the almost like that very like proto dubstep kind of dark chords. How that then lifts us into there is something I really enjoy about that shift. It reminds me a bit of an artist called Airhead, who I don't know if he still is, but used to be the long time like guitar and bass player for James Blake. And his own productions are really fascinating and really cool. And there's something about the harmonic language in that that reminds me of his work that I really dig. So we have got a few things that we need to do on this first. We have got one bit of drumminess that is not sitting in time at the moment, which is a bit of a shame. I think it might be on this koala track. There's something hi-hatty that isn't locking in. And yes, I could fix that in post. I'd rather see if I can fix it now, if I'm honest. So, fix the hi-hats. We've got things that we've got mapped so far. So we haven't got, really we're not using synth 1 at all. Synth 2 is that ARP that comes in. Is it about on that pattern? Okay, so I have got some stuff mapped for that ARP. That's really nice. I like that already. There is a wrong note in that ARP part, which will need fixing. In our, like, whatever this sound is. So I really like that sound. It's got a like pitch envelope thing going on where if the note is long enough, the pitch will fall off, which I really like. But because it's basically just the firmware from a Korg M1 repackaged into an iOS app. Now there are some really good things about that. It sounds like a Korg M1. Like if I fire up the organ patch, then it sounds like Show Me Love. Great, fantastic. Unfortunately, that means that it's like MIDI controllability is really like you can't do that much with it, which is really annoying. So it might be a case that I need to sample that note, the da, whatever note it is, don't sing. Is to sample that note into something like Bleed Sample Wiz, and then do the envelope stuff in there. Just because that will allow me to actually have a bit more granular control over the envelope of that sound. So on the agenda is hi-hats, synth 3 vocals. Synth 4 is not being used very much in this. It's an instance of Slammer by Clevgrand. Love Clevground as a developer. They do some really interesting things, and I really like Slammer as a percussion source. But I'm not using it through the rest of it, and I'd quite like a fader or like a knob that I can bring in that like gives me like some snare rolls. That'd be really, really cool, and we can definitely program that if we have enough time. So that's fine. Synth 5 is fine. That's where our main like chord stabs come. That's actually another instance of Koala that I've just put some stuff into. That's all fine. There is one sample that's a bit loud in it, so we need to fix that. Bass loops is fine. Drums, hi-hats, we just need to fix. So let's have a look at drums and hi-hats first, because I do think it's on here rather than... Okay. Don't have any click in my ears. Okay. That feels all right. So we'll just essentially work through the patterns one by one and try and find the moments where the hi-hats aren't working. So it won't be in might be in the first in 4. Do love how glitchy that is. Feeling all right? There's definitely some jamming to do. And I don't know if we are actually going to change the arrangement, but just immediately, it's... Was it... who was it? Who was the fashion designer who said, before you leave the house, take off one item of clothing? And I think that's the same... I think that's true when you're arranging pieces as well. I think often you get there, take out one element. Yes, I will leave all my clothing on, do not worry. But yes, maybe we need to take one or two bits out of the arrangement, or certainly after the drop, like either we create some more scenes for that, or we do some like live muting and unmuting to make that work. It looks like I have another viewer. That may be the case, that may not. We never know. YouTube is a mystery to us all. If you are watching, please do let us know if you're here. It'd be lovely to know. Yeah, and if you have any suggestions for what this tune should be called, even on its demo state, then yeah, help with naming. I'm struggling with naming tunes at the moment. Usually that comes right at the end. But anyway, so I'm worried. I'm worried that hi-hat is now like... Maybe I shouldn't worry. I think, like, let's be honest, we can line it back up in post if it is a persistent problem. So that's fine. Next thing to see if we can fix is that let's do a little bit of work on that Cool Gen 1 sample sound. So let's put in a sample with... I am going to give this a save. Chev, have you been hitting the save button? I haven't. Can we just try that? Oh, I did not hear this. This would explain some things. In the X32 app, could you please select the could we please select the phones mix? It's in the it's in there. Wonderful. And then could you hit solo? It will be at the top of the fader on the far right. Lovely. And now try hitting a... There we go. That's the save my work. And then, wonderful, if you could just hop back to the Windows machine and just hide the news updates, because much how I want to hear about Andy Burnham probably now isn't quite the moment. That might be why I didn't... Wonderful. Other thing that I don't like about this controller, the Akai MIDI mix, right, is that it's really hard to know when things are actually all the way down. Yeah, it's really like, or the dead zone for it feels wider than I would like. Yeah, the more... Essentially, there's just, I think, one thing too many on this lower shelf. But no, we'll work it out at some point. There probably needs to be some changes to this synth track. I still haven't sold the DFAM. The DFAM still needs to go mainly to pay for the X32. All right, so let's sample in that note. What note is that? That looks like a something sharp 3. Who knows what it could be? G sharp 3. Wonderful. So we'll find G sharp. No, we will sample in C3 and then it will. No, we'll do G sharp 3. Why does that sound really weird? Oh, probably because it's triggering this as well. Yeah. Let's make sure we are as long as we can be. So let's get rid of this MIDI gate for now. Let's just do a quick save before we do this. So we'll get rid of that and make sure that we've got. Don't know what that LFO was for, if I'm totally honest. So we'll get rid of it for now. Great, we'll make sure noise gate. Lovely. Wonderful. Let's maybe give that a little crop and switch over to the iPad focus. There we go. Is that doing the thing now? Why can't I hear that? I should be able to hear it. Oh, it just feels really quiet. Okay, let's get rid of that noise gate as well, just in case that was causing any kerfuffle. Ah. Good. God loves a trier. All right, let's try that one more time. No, get rid. Oh, what? Something really weird is going on. Okay. So what I've done is I've loaded sample as an audio instrument, not as an audio effect, and instruments can't have inputs, so we need to read it. Good. Well, I'm glad I had my Weetabix this morning at the very least. Here we go. Lovely. That's going to be plenty. So now let's disconnect that. So now we need to transpose it down by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I think that will work. Great. Lovely. So that's got that now nicely there, and we'll keep that M1 in there because it's not doesn't seem to be causing any like CPU too much in the way. And then let's that just sounds really badly out of time. And I'm trying to work out why. Okay. So it looks like Bleach Voices is introducing a bit of. Shall I maybe switch the real? Okay, that's feeling a bit nicer. So we can now. Brilliant. And now let's give it a little save. It's like when it changes the note, it just doesn't feel great. Do you hear that? Okay. Oh, this is always a challenge when you try and like reverse engineer what you've been doing. There we go, that's a bit better. It's not clean, and that is annoying. Okay, I think what we're going to have to do is lose Bleach Voices, which is a real shame because it's adding so much cool stuff. So let's lose it for the moment. So now what we want to do is we've got our Bleach sample whiz. Is there a way of modulation assignable, e.g. destination, pitch? Great. So we want this to be okay, this is feeling good. Oh. I've just had a thought, but it's slightly unrelated. So anyway, first thing is we want our knob number 1 on the MIDI mix to be the thing which controls the length of this sample. So we can make this nice and short and snappy, or we can make this like take a little bit longer. So let's have a look at that. Cool. Let's get rid of oh, interesting. I wish you could. Lovely. So, okay. Again, this might be a. I would love to work with the people at Blease because they make some really, really awesome plugins that I really like. And there's just a couple of things that I would love to maybe have a little fiddle with. And yeah, yes, it would be nice to be able to have a little chat about a few features. But anyway, so I think at the moment, obviously, that control is going too long, and we're getting lots of overlap. So let's. Okay, I think that's as long as we're going to want this to be, because we're going to like glitch it out as well, so that's fine. And then let's see whether we can start building in this amp envelope. So because we want the not amp, the pitch envelope, because we want the pitch to be at, essentially we want it to fall away, I think we need to transpose this up an octave so that we're then falling back to where we want it to be, I think. Don't hold me to that. Or maybe down an octave. Okay, that's feeling good. Lovely. So now we just need to increase. Yeah, that is feeling nice. I do like that. Lovely. I think we've got that sorted out now. So in terms of, let's just disconnect the MIDI from this. There we go. Lovely. So now we've got that working. Feels quite quiet. Let's hear that with everything else.
Cool,
that's feeling a little bit better. I'm feeling a little bit better already. Groovy. Is that... Nice. I think we have just gone slightly too short on this, so we just need to nudge those up. That's fine. So next thing is our warp controller. Let's give it a little save before we deal with. So warp, really like crunchy time stretcher from Andrew Huang and Baby Audio. It's part of Transit and Transit. Oh, just Transit 2, which is a really nice like riser effect and like transitional effect, which is really cool. And they just took out the time stretcher from it, and now I use it on not everything, but certain things. And so we want to control the mix knob because, like, the Akai MIDI mix, the knobs don't have a center detent. So what does that mean? That means that when they get to the middle, you don't feel that they're in the middle, whereas on the Launch Control XL, they feel like, okay, I'm in the middle now. And that makes it really easy to know when things are switched on and switched off. So we are going to add a graphic shaper, and Drambo, in its infinite wisdom, always thinks that people are going to use this as a distortion, and it's like, no. What this is really good for is like adding curves to controls. So what do I mean by that? So if we just mapped the knob 1-to-1 to the mix, then as we turn the knob up, the mix would go up. Perfectly fine. We don't want that. We want it to make it so that whenever the mix... in fact, we could probably get rid of... Yeah, we don't need to use that on a... We need that to be on 2. Yeah, great. So we want it to be that whenever the knob is like within spitting distance of the middle, that the mix is at 0, and any other time it's like fading in more. So essentially it's going to look something like that. Great. So now when we twist knob 2, you can see so when the knob's in the middle, the mix is at 0, and as soon as I move it away from the middle, it then starts fading in. The problem is we've got now is that there's actually not enough dead zone in this, so we will make a little bit more. That might end up being a bit much, but yeah, that is a little bit too much. So okay, 64 and drag. This is a slightly fiddly job to do on a on an iPad screen, but we make do. We make do. So we've got these slightly too long out. and then a bit of compression before the voices as well, just because the longer the notes are feeling, the longer the notes are, the more that like feels what's the word? Like it's getting louder because the notes are overlapping. So yeah, that's feeling all a bit more even now. Did the usual thing of adjusting the compressor without actually making sure it was enabled. Any producer that tells you they haven't dialed in a compression setting that they were really happy with and then looked at the compressor and realized it was in bypass, they're all lying to you. We've all done it, and it's never not incredibly embarrassing. Lovely. So I think that feels like that's kind of sorted. This ARP that we've got on Sinister. There was a note in this that we wanted to fix. So we'll have a look at that in a mo. So we've looked at hi-hats that all seem to be fine. We've looked at synth 3 that really needed some work, and that's now looking fine. Synth 4, we were going to make a little like snare fill knob, which I'd really like to do. What time are we on? Oh, I can look at my 10 to 8, 9 minutes to 8. For those who are interested, we still very much do have a daisy in the daisy bed. Very, very importantly, small bear. Wonderful. This is the joy of wireless cameras. Some friends of mine who used to do a lot of streaming had two pet rats called Lemon and Lime who would gamble about on the desk, and they had a little webcam set up for Lemon and Lime. So little rat cam. It was really sweet. And I don't think Daisy will be a regular feature of the stream, much how I would love that. Mainly because she's capricious, and Daisy does what Daisy wants, and that's fine. So I have derailed myself by talking about the dog. This will be a not uncommon thing. If you are out there in the ether, do pop a little hello in the chat. It'd be lovely to prove that I'm not alone in the void again. And also, if you feel like any names are suggesting themselves for the piece that we're making today, then give those a pop down as well. Cool. So where are we at? We might be at Chris needs a little glass of squash in a mo. But we were going to make this knob for generating snare fills. So let's do that now. So we want a little MIDI rack, and we're going to want a MIDI mixer. MIDI mixer. 1 and 2. So lovely. That's feeling very cool. This is going to need a knob. Lovely. And let's make it unipolar. So that's just from 0 to 1. Because we're just going to want this to dial from 0 to 1. And we want a note generator. Oh, crikey. Then we will add another knob because I can never remember. There is a bit of maths. Let's see if I have made it. Great. all bits of software like this have their foibles, and yeah. Anyway, so that's all fine. Let's. Can we? Would you play for me? Ah, there we go. What? So we got that one. So I think we. Nice. So we can work into that sound a little bit. I decide. I love I love this plugin so much. It's just full of like really nicely interestingly made percussion things. So if you want the sound of someone hitting a bucket with a stick, we've got that. Did you need that? I needed that. Really nice, and it's all multi-sampled as well, so you don't get a huge amount of like bucket handle and stick. Awesome. These are all things. It's all a little bit stomp, and that's something I can really get behind. So, but we want this to be note 2. Oh, that one. So that's D2. You're not going to give me a number for that, are you? Okay, we'll see if we can. Well, 60 is C4, so let's go 62. D3, that's fine. Okay. And then do I just need to give it a velocity? Did I need to give it a velocity from somewhere? Okay. Let's have more than one knob. Let's have knobs. Knobs, there we go. So we want a velocity control. And we'll call this velocity. Vicosity, of course. And we want this again to be unipolar, so 0 to 1. So hopefully now if we just zip that back up. Wonderful. That's now running really nicely. Now we need some way to essentially pulse that trigger. And we're going to do that with an LFO. And we'll set it to beat, I think. And then, yeah, cool. So that trigger needs. We want ramp, no, saw down, yeah. What I'd really like it to do is not play when stuff's not happening. So clock. Oh, beans. Okay. If we use the graphic modulator, and we tie that to MIDI clock. Beautiful. So we'll use that instead. That's just going to make things a little bit clearer. So, yes, oh. Okay, so okay, so the problem with this is it doesn't go quick enough. Infuriating. Can we do some kind of clock generator? And now we're cooking. So that's really cool, but we might want to. I think let's try that in 4. In fact, what we're going to do is we're going to do a mixer. I'm going to take one from there. So we're going to have 2 clock generators. Could I please have 2 mega rangers? Deep cut from the South Park archives, for anyone who might recognise that one. And then this one will dial in at like 7 or 6 even. Okay. That's problematic. Okay, can we do, if we got a Bernoulli gate here? Yes, great. So let's get rid of that, remove. Okay, great. So let's Bernoulli gate both of them, because we want to do some like randomness here, and we want some things to build, and that'll be nice. Time check, 2 minutes past 8. Okay, probably do need to start doing some of this with a bit more seriousness. Okay, so that's fine. So what we want here now is a graphic shaper. Gorgeous. And what that is going to do is it's, in fact, we're going to want, no, we can just do, we'll call this one rate. 1 rate. And then we'll have it control the first one like that. That hasn't done what I expected. I think it's fair to say. Okay. Remove. So, I think let's. Am I overcomplicating this? Yes, I am. Hello, Calciri Music. Always wondered what a stick hitting a bucket might sound like. Yes, well, now we can hear it many, many times, as I'm sure we all want to. So, essentially what we're doing is we're trying to make a knob that will, like, let us do those, like, classic dance snare rolls, but in a more interesting way than maybe we would usually have them. So we're going to essentially trigger these notes in from two places, and we're going to randomize. We're only going to so our first one is going at 4 in crotches from this one. So semiquavers, sorry. So maybe let's do that there. Yeah, that's all good. So that one is going to be going in quavers, and we will make that, essentially we want that to this needs to be, maybe that's what's causing this, is because this is confused. Aren't we all slightly confused? Yes. Here we go. But also, you haven't actually mapped it, have you, Chris? For God's sake. Cool. So that means that essentially, as we turn the note up, great. Shall we? Okay, we'll maybe swap that sample in a minute. But also let's have our velocity. Oh, but we want to slightly randomize the velocity. That's fine. We can do that with some velocity processing over here. Over here. Yes. Oh, save the work. Oh God, no. Save. The whole point of this stream is for me to jam out this tune, and I feel like I have gone down a massive, like quite a major side quest. And okay, 10 past, and we're going to take a break wherever this has got to. Okay, there we go. And let us add in some velocity. Does Gates have any velocity processing in it? Oh, crikey, do I not have a velocity randomizer in this? What's humanizer? Yes, does do some velocity processing, so that's fine. Cool, and then we just need to make sure that that is going. Great, so we've got our quavers are now running, that's working. So let's do the same thing for our not semiquavers, demi-semiquavers. Yes. Great. So now we do that from the output from there. And this means that rather than it fading up at the same rate, we can make it so that we get more later on at the so that the faster notes fade in more gradually. Okay, that works, but we want this to be cool. That is doing the thing that we wanted it to. Now we want to put in any Lovely. Now we just need to make sure that we are completely switching this off when that knob is all the way at the bottom. So to do that, we will put in a MIDI mixer mutes. So we'll take that from there, take that from there, and then, no, that's not a good way of doing that. Let's do it with gates. This is fine. This again just like controls the probability of it letting certain MIDI notes through. And then what we want to do is put in another graphic modulator. No, graphic shaper. And we want this to be, so essentially when it's at the bottom it's completely off, and when it's at the top it's completely on. And so we'll take that from there, take that from there, and then this we just need to take from input 1 as well. So now, not bipolar, there's many things, but there we go. Has that? Lovely. We love this. We don't love that sample. I think it's fair to say I've had enough bucket handle for now. Let's do snare and mallet. I quite liked. Great. Well, that I quite like. We might. Let's do a quick save. Let's have a little control over some of these things as well. I don't know if there is a way, because what I'd quite like to do is there's no like presets. I'd quite like to add a bit more randomization. No, we're at time. So all we want to do now is again map this to is it because you're let's do graphic shaper. Oh, Daisy has slightly got up. It's hard being a doggo. It's so hard. There we go. Oh, that scale should be 100. Copy. So we'll use this one, first one for decay. We'll use this second one for pitch. So D for decay, and we'll start that quite low. Cool. And then this one we're definitely going to want to be a bit of a curve in. So we'll, oh, no. Okay, that's fine. Oh. Lovely. That will, I think that will do for that. Will it? Will it? Cool. Okay. I seem to have recorded in some MIDI notes here by accident. That's fine. Let's have a quick save, and then I think a small pause, get some squash, and then we'll see if we can start performing this. Wonderful. Oh, it's gonna be so much fun. All right, see you in about 5 minutes. Hello, just a quick break, because we have things to do. We have things to do. three people watching. That's nice. If you're there, give us a shout. Oh no, that actually might have just been me checking the stream to post a story and do things like that. Anyway, so 40 minutes left on the clock. We need to get into doing some recording of this. So the way that this works is we've got our there we go. We've got our setup down here. Basically everything that we could want to be mapped, I think, is mapped. That's all going to be fine. So it's going to be basically a case of no, oh dear, oh no, that's a problem. Okay, it looks like this is all still mapped. So focus, there we go. Here is my multi-track recorder that I built in Drambo, which is really useful. Let's just run some stuff and see whether that is actually going to do the thing that we want it to. By Jove, I think it's working. Delicious. It's nice when that happens. Oh, that's interesting. I wonder how I'm going to do this. Anyway, that's fine. So let's clear that. Always when we start, we need to make sure we've got everything back to where it should be on the Akai MIDI mix. So where should everything be? Yeah, that looks about right. That looks about right. That looks about, yeah. Happy. We'll give that a try and we'll see what that does. Lovely. Okay. Lock in for a take. Okay, it looks like we've got some audio glitching stuff happening here, which is totally reasonable given all the stuff that we have recently added. So, little save, which is a shame because that was sounding groovy. I was enjoying that. So bit that we do need to go away and fix is our that second art bit has got some notes that are not in the right key in that section. Let's also take this opportunity to get rid of our M1. Also, I feel like I'm dubbing out those my stabs a bit too much. They're also really, really loud. And my these were a bit quiet as well. No, stop farting around, Bartholomew. Come on. Lovely. All right. Have a little save. So it's this pattern that we were just in here. So let's hear the... There we go. That has fixed it. Okay, save. All right. Let's just check what the old buffer settings are at. See whether we can boost this up at all. I usually run this at like. Okay, we're not playing anything like. There's nothing that we're doing that is like super tempo sensitive, so we may as well give ourselves a little bit of extra headroom. Cool. Let's get everything faded back in. Let's get all of our things reset. That's all fine. That's all fine. That's where that should be. Though there is that sample. It's this one. Let's fix that while I'm here. It's this sound. Lovely. Again, these are all things we can fix in post, but the less we have to fix in post, the better. Wonderful. Okay, so that's all fine. That's where that should be. Happy days. I do like our little drum fill knob. That's feeling really nice. That's all where that should be. That's all where that should be. Okay. Back to the top. My like send effects freezer riser thing is so weird. and maybe a little loud. Let's bring the volume of that out a little bit, down a little bit as well. Cool. Okay. Quick save. And then let's give this another try. Okay. Oh. Okay. Probably that. One sec. Let's just make sure that we've got a way of having everything stopped right at the end. There we go. Lovely. Okay. One more time. all right. That's one take in the bag. Mm, yeah, it was okay. It was perfectly reasonable. I think there's something more to find in it, if I'm honest. So let's do a little duplicate project, and we'll call this stream 6 take 1, and then we'll duplicate it and take 2. Lovely. And now we can clear everything. Okay, what are the things that I didn't like about that? So I do think that my riser thing is too weird and too distracting, and the main cause of that, I think, is the fact that the thing that I'm using to capture sound and to build the riser out of is Granular, which is a iOS port of Musical Instruments Cloud, and that also the pitch of that has got turned all the way up. That might help. Let's give it a bit of that. Let's just run some stuff and see if that helps. Okay, and let's do a little bit of tweaking of the stuff that's going in there, which of course I haven't labeled. So the only way to do, I've got this set up so that essentially it does my pre-fade sends. So the synths we want, those will be loud. We want the loops, so it's just the last 2 we could dial back a little bit. So that we're essentially sending in a little bit less drums into it. We don't really want the stuff in 4. Okay, well that explains that. No, it doesn't. Cool. I think cool in here. So we've got some like filtery stuff. I think the rate is just a little bit too much. So let's just dial that back to like okay, yeah, that's cool. I like that a bit more now. What? Okay. Ah. Okay, that's feeling nice. Let's... Oh, we don't want that. LFO going to tune. Let's have it right into position. There we go. No. Is it just something... Okay, so there's just something too much stuff going on in this riser plugin. So we just need to scale that back a little bit. We are at... I think we'll keep the earlier take because there was some nice textury stuff in there which will give us some nice ear candy, but we want a riser which feels a bit more... a bit... almost a bit less interesting. I know that's a weird thing to say. Okay, so let's put that back in the chain. I feel like something really odd is going on here. There we go. Okay, cool. So I think that's the answer. Cool. Okay, let's get all of our controls reset. It's yeah. Okay, cool. That's all reset. That's all reset. Yes, 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 yes. I'm still the pluck sound that comes in halfway through. I'm not totally sure that it's right, but I think we can potentially work into it in post, and that's. I'm kind of, at this point of the stream, kind of happy with that. So let's run everything quiet. Let's get everything recording. All right, take 2. Oh yeah, now we're cooking. Yeah, not bad. Not bad at all. Um, cool. Um, that was pretty good. Definitely happier. Get like the thing is, every time I do this, there are things that I like more, things that I like less, and then we take all these stems, we put them into Logic, we pick and choose between the things that we really love. So let's give that a save. Duplicate that. Take 3. Clear all those out. And I think I've probably got one more in me before we call it a night. So let's get everything reset back to where it should be. We've done a quick save. That's all looking good. That's all looking good. That's all fine. That's... Oh, dear me. That's all pretty good. Cool. Once more. If you're out there, say a quick hello. Let me know if you're enjoying the sounds that are coming out and whether you've got any ideas for a name for this monstrosity. Here we go. Oh no. Okay. Uh, it ground to a stuttering halt. That's absolutely fine. We've got outros we can use from other takes. Um, but the rest of that was absolutely banging, and I'm really happy with that. So let us save that. We're going to export all of those gorgeous stems and work out what we're going to do with them. So if you have been along for the ride this evening or on any of the previous streams, thank you so much. I think we are going to be doing something slightly different in August, mainly because my wonderful stream assistant Chev is going to be up working in the Edinburgh Fringe, and so August is going to look a little bit different, and then we'll work out what we do in September. But anyway, so if you have been around on any of the streams over the last 6 months, a massive thank you. It has been such a joy to do these. That's 12 hours of streaming. That's a really long time for me to be here chatting. And I'd love to know what you think. If there's things that you'd like more of, things that you'd like less of, then please do give us a shout. We have a lot of fun doing this. It's been a real joy, and we will be back in the autumn. But for now, goodbye from me. Goodbye from additional streaming assistant Daisy. And good night from everyone. A massive thank you, as always, to Chev and to Canal and to the Daisy dog. All right. Have a good rest of your evening. Thank you very much for being here. Bye for now.